This is macOS Sequoia's screensaver. In order to get this, you need a Metal-compatible graphics card and a Mac that's powerful enough to handle it. And you may honestly think this is a Mac powerful to handle that type of stuff. But what if I told you it's not? It's actually much older than the supported Macs that are on macOS Sequoia. It's right here. Yeah. This is my Mac Pro 5.1, or this is 2009 version, and it's a beast. I more recently just upgraded its graphics card, and I want to go tell you guys how, my experience, because right now the software is annoying. So the first thing the first step was getting the graphics card. I looked high and low on Facebook Marketplace, and I found a AMD Radeon RX 570. This thing has 4 gigabytes of video RAM, meaning it's going to be later than 1080p content only, and it also has a processor, that's more powerful than a M2, but less powerful than an M3. But nonetheless, it's inside the Mac Pro right now, but I'm gonna get into that later. But I didn't have any power. That was the problem. I don't even have any power to actually use the Mac Pro with the graphics card. So what I did was I bought one off Amazon. I bought an actual power cable off of the official Amazon website. The official Amazon website is pretty nice. You can find loads of accessories there, and I found the perfect connector I need for my Mac Pro. A dual mini 6-pin to 8-pin. That connector is basically proprietary. You cannot get it from a motherboard. It's certainly proprietary, yeah. So when I bought this cable, it was going to be going up to 28th. That didn't end up being the case because it arrived Thursday. At Thursday is when I installed the graphics card inside my Mac Pro. I immediately jumped and out of my bed. I don't know, because I was actually sitting on my bed waiting for this graphics card cable at the day. And tomorrow it ended around 4:20 or so. And oh my god, my eye. Anyway, I immediately grabbed my Mac Pro, shut it off, put it on the desk, and I started filming. Basically, what you're seeing here is a process of me installing the graphics card inside the Mac Pro, installing the PCIe cables, etc. Basically, installing the graphics card inside the Mac Pro. And yeah, basically, as I said, it was a perfect installation in terms of hardware, though. The software, it was not good. Yeah, in terms of the actual software itself, it wasn't really inventful. Every time before Shmar is out the 29th, when I tried to boot into macOS Sequoia via OpenCore Legacy Patcher, the EF5 folder, it would just immediately crash after a comment a few seconds on the Apple logo. Instead, what it'll do is on this display, it would actually show up it'll show the backlight, but it would show no display. That was weird. And I had no clue what was going on by that time, so I booted up Windows, and let's just say it wasn't the most pleasant experience. I tried to install driver. I used Windows 11, thinking I'd use it for ever, and I installed Windows 11 on here with the boot camp drivers, stupidly, because as soon as the boot boot camp drivers took effect. Yeah, I was just moving the mouse and it just blue screened. Yeah, that was unexpected. Yeah, blue screen. It blue screened every single time I, opened the actual desktop. It's weird, and I'm blaming the drivers, honestly. And let's just say I do not install the bootcamp drivers. Like, if you want to install the drivers, use a USB flash drive to install the individual flash drivers. And you can install bootcamp onto the USB drive, but you can actually go inside the directory of the USB drive. You can actually find the files required for bootcamp. All I did, yeah. But I'll get into that a bit later. So at that day, I was a bit stumped. So I installed macOS Mojave instead, which did not let me connect to the internet. The next day, aka today, I managed to get everything working, as you can see here behind me. Right now it's the 30th. I don't know if you can see this at the 31st or the June 1st, but I actually managed to get everything working because today I thought, you know what? What if I replace the EFI folder with the one and downgrade to High Sierra because Wi-Fi wasn't working in Mojave, and actually fix the EFI from there. So that's exactly what I did. I downgraded to High Sierra on my SSD, and I have two SSDs in case you're wondering, so this was not touching my main SSD, this was touching my secondary SSD. And once I got that, once I have a second SSD with High Sierra, I installed OpenCore Legacy Patcher. The patcher basically lets you install modern versions of macOS onto older unsupported legacy hardware. And I rebuilt the EFI based on the current configuration. And all good, right? Installing the SSD? Well, not exactly. The Wi-Fi toggle was grayed out. I couldn't do anything. And I quite literally went all the way downstairs to use Ethernet, tried to do root patches, etc. I tried my best. At that point, I was into giving up. But I didn't. But what I did is, what if said, you know what? What if I rebuilt the EFI again? I was a bit skeptical because it would A, remove my root patches, and B, it may cause a bit of a disaster. But I did, and Wi-Fi worked again. And now once I ran on the secondary SSD, I installed Windows 11 again, installed the Razer drivers, the Realtek audio drivers, the AMD graphics driver, Radeon software, Adrenaline Edition, and before I knew it, I had a perfect Mac Pro. And performance-wise, I can tell immediately that it is a bit iffy on the edge because, well, this is a card from 2016. What would you expect? But nonetheless, it was $50, so I'm not going to complain. We're gonna solve one game. I was thinking about getting Halo Infinite. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get Halo Infinite because I don't have access to the account that has Halo Infinite online multiplayer. Nonetheless, I tried online game called Deadshot.io. When I went on the game and I started a match, it played flawlessly. No stutters. 60 FPS, 1080p. Just played for me, aka at the resolution of 1. Usually when I had my old GT 120 in, I had to usually set the resolution to 0.3. But I was playing at full 1 and everything was working, audio was working, I heard the gunshots, everything was phenomenal. But when it comes to editing, I am editing this while I'm filming. It actually handled it like a champ. Sort of. When you put sometimes you put stuff overlapping each other, it does show its lag. But, or when you have too many clips and stuff. But, as said, it's a $50 card. What would you expect? Yes, I paid $50 for that card. And, that's performance. It's fine. So if I were to rate this experience, what would I rate it? Well, I would rate it around 3 out of 5. The free is the hardware upgrade. The hardware upgrade was fun. I love upgrading hardware and messing with hardware, and really I am actually pretty excited to like build PCs and stuff. I've never built a PC before, and I would like to seek that experience, maybe build a Hackintosh. But nonetheless, the actual software though, not really that much. macOS with macOS and OpenCore. So yeah, it was a bit of a tough one in terms of that. But hey, at the end of the day, it's working. As you can see here, the macOS Sequoia screensavers are working, but there are a bit of quirks with this graphics card. Like, A, the fans don't spin at times. When the fans are idling, when I'm idling, the fans are too, which may cause stress to the actual thing, but apparently the cooler is so good that it actually is fine. I never expected that. I just leave it at when I turn it off, 0 RPM in Windows 11, but there is unfortunately no option for 0 RPM in macOS, unfortunately, which is something I'm gonna have to deal with. But yeah, alright, as you can see here, macOS is a champ on this bad boy. It's right now currently running macOS Sequoia 15.5 with the latest and greatest OpenCore Legacy Patcher 2.4.0, and it has dual Intel Xeon E5520s, dual 4-core 8-thread processors. That totals up to 8 cores and 16 threads, clocked at 2.26 gigahertz. Now I would upgrade, oh yeah, and for the RAM, I have 20 gigabytes of DDR3 1066 megahertz memory. Now I would upgrade the components, but I am actually going to be upgrading to a newer hardware, a whole new computer, because planned obsolescence is ahead of us, unfortunately. And that new computer is going to be a baseline M4 Mac Mini with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. Although the RAM is a bit low, it is LPDDR5X, and it utilizes both the CPU and the GPU. So, because it's a full-on SoC. So yeah, I said content's gonna be better with this SoC. With that Mac, it smashes the Mac Pro in every way. So yeah, but yeah, as I said, I'd like to you guys think of link think on Reddit. And yes, I actually do own a Reddit account. So if you want to go, chat with me on Reddit, you can gladly go check out my posts and go, connect to me about my Mac Pro, because I will be posting a success post in r/Mac Pro. And yeah, nonetheless, thank you so much for watching. If you did, hit the subscribe button. Please subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. It would support the channel in every way. And trust me, y'all, since I have this Mac Pro, no more raw footage. Yes, meaning that there's no longer going to be any raw footage in God knows how long. But nonetheless, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Blackpink in your area. Yeah. Blackpink in your area. Yeah. 컴백이 아니야 떠난 적 없으니까 고개들이 돌아 진정에 못 걷길라 분홍빛의 얼음 drip 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 freezer on side shut it down. What yeah 이미 안에 진 적이 없으니까 지저분이 목에 먹줄은 내 거니까 땅바닥에 단패로 we go 205 shut it down. 초록빛을 내려 머리 위로 don't trip baby 겸손하게 그냥 앉아있어 just sit